Okay. Hey, this is part two of a video series I'm trying to do or thinking of doing about using single file components in Drupal to remake Twitter. Um, yes. So last time we basically got a site set up, which took like 30 minutes when I reviewed the last video, and then we made some components for parts of the page and got like basic tweeting functionality in. And now I want to do some other stuff. This is not a real task. We probably want to make profiles. They're not super important, but it's a button, so we should have it work. And maybe make likes. And support followers. And then in probably a future video, we want user login, create, etc. So that's what we're going to work on now. If you didn't watch the last video or forgot, I just want to point out the point of this is like to use single file components. It's not like this is how you should use Drupal, or this is the best content architecture or design or programming for like remaking something like Twitter. It's just really to get people interested in single file components and see how I work. So yeah, don't judge things too much, but let's dive in. Okay, great. So we have our basic site. I'm not even logged in. Just to go over it, we have this. That's too big. That's probably just right. Anyway, we have this Drupal site with a custom theme called Dritter, and it has a bunch of single file components. We have the component to actually Dreet, which is a basic form that has an action we wrote. Actions are like a thing in single file components where you can send things to the backend as if you were making your own custom route. That was very cool. We have Dreets, which is displaying like a tweet on the timeline. We have our homepage, our left and right sidebar, and our timeline, which is the list of tweets. So those are great. Let's log in so you can see a little more of it. You can tell the anonymous user experience is non-existent. There's probably like some security stuff I need to work on too, with like who can access Dreets, who can log in, but we're just kind of worried about the login in single user experience right now. And then in the future, we'll do more. So this is what it looked like from last time. We have this timeline. You have a form where you can Dreet. Oh, that's fine. You can submit it and see your Dreet. We dealt with cache tags, and so it supports caching. At least I think it does. And the only other thing that changed since last time, I didn't touch the site, I promise, but I did a ton of improvements to this SFC watch command. This is a command that should clear caches when you add, remove, or modify components. And hopefully it's just going to work this time. Last time it kind of broke and I stopped using it. But yeah, we're going to be hopeful. Great, I'm talking a lot, so let's make the profile page. So when you go to the profile page, for one, it should link somewhere, probably to profile. When you view it, you should see things about the current user, like who you are. You know, I could have been logged into Twitter already. That's going to make this a little weird, but I can just view someone else's profile. I'm using a guest Chrome browser, so you don't see any of my search history and bookmarks and stuff like that. So let's go to me. So yeah, normally you would have like a profile thing. Really weird that settings is here on theirs. Anyway, so you have a banner image, your main image, stuff about you, and your followers, which we don't have yet. But most importantly, you have your own timeline. I don't know if I'll do the image uploads for this yet, but maybe. We might just do a placeholder. So we need a profile page. So I'm going to make a new component called profile. Oops. It is going to have some stuff in it. What is it going to have? It will have, let's look at how the home page looks. Tweet form, timeline. Okay, so I can basically do whatever I want. So let's do profile, and we're going to do page because I'm sure I'll reuse the word profile a ton. What it needs to have is stuff like the current user ID or username. Let's look around. This might have some Googling, but we can, we can imagine the layout. So we can even say like, okay, it has a div class. Oh heck, let's do a single class name profile header. This is going to be like this very top area, although this all feels like the header, doesn't it? Okay, we can do the whole thing. And we can do div class profile header. What would we call this? It's kind of like a breadcrumb, but it's really not. That's like a pretty Drupal term. You need a back button. So we can say div class. Hey, buddy. I wonder if you're on camera. That's my cat Butters. You probably want, yep, the back button. So we're going to have this be. This is kind of getting deep, huh? We're just going to call this back. We'll make this a link. This is like the least important details for me to make. I'm just so used to replicating exactly that I'm just writing it like this. I'm kind of realizing the thing about doing this like raw or unedited is that I'll probably look at this and be like, man, I want to really go back and change all this bad code or go in with a lot more planning, but I don't know. It's kind of fun. So it gives you a little summary next to that. Do we really want to copy this? Yeah, we're already there. So info, or we can say stats. Man, you can tell I don't use BEM either because none of this feels really accurate to me. We need the name, and then we'll also have the Dreet count. And we'll just do placeholders for now. Foo, and something like 1,000 Dreets. Okay, so this is going to be this top area. The header also has a, well, now I'm going to make it this whole thing, I suppose. It has a like image in the background. This could be a background image, but it could also just float, and then I could do a negative margin for this. That's kind of, I think that's how I would do it. So we're going to do div class. Oop. Hey, buddy, what's up? The guest star. Okay, bud. Profile. Header image. Div class. So this is just going to be like a block element with some image tag in it. We don't know yet. I like always having a wrapper thing for images because we can do fancy stuff with limiting sizes without using the background image inline style. Okay, say hi to the camera. Watch you back. Okay, so we have that, and then we need the, let's see, if we think of this as rows, like this, these could all be rows. I guess I could use grid, but we'll probably use float. Like this to me is a float justify in between. Man, this is kind of a tricky thing, huh? Profile, image. Oh yeah, and div. This will have some image in it, but this will actually come from, we might be able to make this come from Drupal this video, but I might use all placeholders for this. Like we could just copy that and this for now. Great. And then you need a follow button, but we don't really have a way to follow right now, so I'll wait. And then Yeah, I think this is okay because we don't have followers now, but I need, so this is like a row, if you think of it. What are we gonna have? Okay, we'll have the profile image, and we'll have the profile name. Did we already have that? Oh, it's the stats name. Okay, that's good. So this will need to be filled in. We can just do some stuff. I guess our fake name was foo before. And then div class profile username. Okay, foo. And yeah, I think that's all. I mean, obviously created date, location, like we can make fields for this, I guess if I have a ton of time in the future, but for right now, this is fine. So this is all the header, and then of course you have your own timeline. So we're gonna call this the profile timeline. And this will probably look similar to the homepage. So, oh yeah, and we already had, so we have this timeline component. I'm trying to think if it's worth making it generic. I don't think we need to. I think we can probably just copy a lot of this and put it right in this component. We could, let me think. We could take in a user in context and reuse it though, because the styling's already, I mean, there is no styling, but it's already kind of done. Let's just do it. Let's make the component actually useful. We can say if not empty context user. We can add a condition here to say it was, I think it's created by is the real. We'll check the SQL really quick. Yeah, I hear you, bud. My cats hear me talking and they instantly think that I'm talking to them or something's wrong. So it's just kind of funny. Oh yeah, schema. It's called something else like this. Now I look lame because I can't remember every little silly thing. I bet people watching this are like, come on, Sam, you can do it. UID. It's funny, I thought the author was there. Oh, here we go. Jeez. Okay, it's the UID. So we'll just name it the same just to be nice. And so yeah, if you pass in a UID, we're gonna query based on it and filter it. Yeah, that should work, right? Am I forgetting everything? Created. Yeah, UID should be like the name of the field. Okay. Oh, owner. Yeah, I think UID will work just fine. So that's great. So we can optionally take in a UID. So now we're just going to reuse this, which is cool. We can just copy this component. We're going to reuse it here. We don't even really need to wrap it. We might want that later, but for now it's okay. And then we're going to do with, I'm pretty sure this is the syntax, UID. And we'll just say UID. We don't really know. Well, it'll probably be something like this. But we still have to write some PHP. So I think. So yeah, basically the reason we need PHP is because we need some context to get the current user. So we can do something like context user, Drupal current user, and that should work fine. Yeah, I know. I heard you, bud. Cool. Oh yeah, and we need the profile page to appear somewhere. But we also need to go to this custom module we wrote.
I know, I hear you, Butters.
I can't tell if this video is more or less like ad hoc and messed up than the last one I made, but it's okay. So here's the new path. It's /profile. It needs a logged in user, which is good. We probably also want to have the UID passed in with like I'm trying to think, the URL. So we'll try to do that in this thing too. I just didn't expect this all to be so complicated, but so here I actually have to clear cache manually because SFC Watch doesn't know when you like added a Drupal route. That's not super its job, but it could be. I got redirected home. Oh, here we go. Oh, we're cool. We're here. It worked probably because I'm passing something in. We can confirm that just by passing in like something random. Okay, so you can see like it actually did show the timeline for the tweets, which is great. So we have a lot going on and it's all unstyled. Let's just like pause for a second on the styling. Actually, maybe we'll do that at the end of the video because it's a lot of me just writing CSS, which isn't necessarily what you want. But yeah, buddy. Let's get the slug working. So basically where you can go like this and type in a username. So we need another route. Profile. Slug. That's kind of stupid. And so we're going to do this, and then we're going to say username. And it's going to be the same component. So how we're going to do that is when you have a route with a slug, it actually gets passed in via context. Just because this component controller is really magic and it will do that for you. So there should be something in the context called username now. So let's just like do something really lazy, or echo won't work, but we can do things like well, let's make this a variable. And this should be back to user ID. How should we do this? Well, let's just say username. And what that should do is it should already be in context, even though we didn't explicitly talk about it here. Profile, and we can say admin. You see it says admin. You can do all sorts of garbage. So you can see there's some like weird stuff you have to be aware of because users can pass anything you want. You have to start like thinking about prepare context and also your actions as routes, like controller routes that people can pass whenever they want to. The whole point of what I showed you is we made a new route. It includes this slug, I forget what it's called in Drupal, and it gets passed to our component automatically. Now we need to do some stuff on it. We need to do an entity query, basically. So we can see if this set context username. We can do a new query, Drupal entity query, user, condition, username. I actually think, let's get the real field name. Isn't it fun when I like forget how everything works? It is called the hello fields. Hello. UID line code. Oh, just the name. Okay. So we're going to do the name is the condition, the context username. And we only want one. I can't actually remember if you have limits or whatever. It's okay. So we've got that. And then we can say if it's not empty, sorry, user. This should be like a You see, I improve SFC watch, so if you like mess something up, it won't crash the loop. Anyway, so we want to see if this is empty. I think it returns an array of, yeah, of users, and so we just want the context user equals. We call this results, I guess. There's got to be like a fetch one, right? There's definitely like a way to do this, but it doesn't matter. So we want the first. I think this is be an NDID. This is gonna be so bad, but it's kind of fun programming live. I don't use Drupal as much anymore, so it's just kind of a fun thing. And then you can do something here. There's a better way to write all of this, but okay. So now the username is passed via this. For us to really see it, we should probably add another user. So we're going to call this and their username is going to be, I guess, me. Password is definitely not password. I only have one user role. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Great. So we've got admin, and we're still showing it here, and everything's still loading, which is kind of messed up. So what we need to do is throw an error. Can we actually do this here? I don't think we can. So we can say, we kind of want to return a 404, but we can't. I don't think so. Not found. This is a little suspect. I actually haven't thought about this before. No, fatal error. What is the fatal error? Hey, buddy. Yeah, so you can't really like throw real 404s. Maybe that's something we should support, huh? That'd be interesting. So we're just gonna do this. User not found. That's fine, and then we can do something like this. I kind of hate this now. This is something I haven't thought of before, so this is why it's good kind of to use the module to be like, how do we like gracefully handle error states? The answer is I don't know right now. I feel like I've solved this before, but who knows? You can do it in actions, of course. Like actions can return errors because they're literally just Symfony routes, but this is something special. So now we're gonna wrap everything in a big if else at the end of this header and all of this stuff. And we can do else. Okay. Okay, so now we have an error message because I typed in the username wrong. If we type in the username correctly, we get this. You can even go to Mortensen Sam. You can see it's Mortensen Sam. That was a bit funny. So profile takes you to yours. You can type in any user's profile and it shows you their stuff, which is great. Now I've already found a bug because the timeline is showing, even though I'm passing the correct user ID there. So we need to fix that. But for now, we can do some nice stuff and add names. We don't have full names yet, so we'll just have to do that. There might be like a capitalized filter. Capitalize filter. Rest in the meantime, yeah. Capitalize. So this will be our placeholder for like the full name until I add that field, which again I could do now, but We'll add a real count. Username. Oh, it's not actually getting the correct user. It's probably because this isn't working. So let's just do a little debug thing. I think I could print R and die here, but I'm just deciding to do it this way. Oh, I just forget the format. Oh, and the API just is incredible. You want something like this. Don't you? Isn't it? He's gone mad. Yeah. Okay, that's weird. So I'm really loading the first user ID. We can call it UID to be nice. But this is not passing things correctly. Oops, stop. User 1. Oh. Oh, it's just the dumbest logic. Great. Holy moly. We have an error somewhere. Oh, the username. The argument one must be type string. Yes. Oh, yeah. That's cool. Love Drupal. It's something like this. So, name, get value. Oh boy. Egg on my face, huh? We're gonna be lazy and ignore it. I mean, I just did this somewhere, right? Like if we look at the timeline, I have to be doing something. Oh, it's just dot value. Man. Don't you just hate it when you look stupid? Cool. So, oh my god. Yes, we know. We know it's all bad. Okay, so now it actually works. You have your name, we don't have a name field, your username, and then we have tweets. We could handle like an empty case here. Maybe we should, but this is cool. It's some amount of work. So we have admin and oh yeah, you have profile/slug, so you can view it in individual pages, and then you have your normal profile page where you just view your tweets. We can also like give it some label like tweets. I won't give it a heading level yet, just because I'm not sure what this page looks like, but we'll just say something like that. And again, just time constraint wise, I'm not gonna write CSS this video, which kind of sucks. It looks bad, but we'll do it next time. It'll be a really weird CSS writing thing. Profile, tweets. Oh yeah, we can do timeline header. Cool. So we have profile pages. What would be cool now? Followers would be fine. We could do that. What do I really want to do? Let's just make usernames link to the actual profile pages. So in your timeline component or your Dreet component, you have the author. This is passed in as the username, right? But if you look at them, actually it has the full name and the username. So you should probably have, if I was going to do this, I guess I am, you would have, yeah, that byline is fine. You would have a, this would make sense, but we're going to call author name and then author username. And this will actually be a link now. Hey, Href. We're going to be lazy and do something maybe like you shouldn't do, which is this. Again, like if I was just using Drupal on my site, I might do this, but this is bad. So maybe we shouldn't. There's a link element. Sometimes I like to just type in twig extension, and there's a core one. Obviously, I named mine the same in single file components. I know there's docs for this, but it's sometimes easier to just read this thing. I think you want this link function. Link. And it takes a text URL and some attributes. Oh, but you still need the URL. So let's see how it's used. This is like my lazy, I don't really remember what's going on. So there's a version of this. Okay, here we go. See if anyone is combining these already. Push. Okay, they're not combined normally. So we're going to use URL in our own little thing. And I'm doing this just for you, so I don't show you bad habits that I probably have. We want that, and you need to pass it this. So now we should have a link. We need to go back to the timeline and make sure we're passing these things. So this is the author name. And the username is, ironically, the... oh no, it's the same thing, but we're going to do this capitalize. Capitalize. Let's see. Already got an error. Parameters, of course, because having a default for this value would have been awful. Honestly, this could be like a variable you pass into just to make this look like a bit cleaner and have a component just focused on styling. But, you know, it's okay. URL. Oh, I see. I need the parameters. I think the parameter is username. So, oop, the twig arrays look like this. Cool. So now it's an actual link. So if you click it, you go to admin's profile page. Do you see? And the styling is bad, but we'll fix the styling. Don't worry. And this is the yeah. So that's basically the HTML I expect. So this is pretty cool. We have links now. If I logged in as Mortensen Sam, which I guess I can do. Hello. I would be able to tweet as Mortensen Sam. I think we can just edit one of these and change the author. Which users should never be able to do. Be very bad. So here, this one's by Mortensen Sam. I can click it, and then you can see it's here. One thing that's cool, you know, we worked on caching last time. You can tell it's working because I haven't had to clear cache since adding a route. So that's nice. I think I said it last time, but I really like working or developing with caching on, because then you actually see caching issues before they hit prod. A lot of people work with like twig debugging on, caching off, and I really don't like that. So that's why I really wanted to improve this watch command so that it actually clears caches appropriately. Okay, so it's ugly, but we have a profile page. Should we add likes or should we add followers? Let's just start to add likes because I think it's kind of an interesting problem. It might be the first time I want to write JavaScript. Because yeah, normally you can click this if I was logged in, and it will just not take you to a new page and show that it's liked and change the state. We could do that with like a redirect and backend code, but it's just bad UX. Everything right now is okay UX. Even refreshing the page when you Dreet, I think, is not that bad. But we need JavaScript for likes. I only have like 20-ish minutes before I have to go live my life. But let's just make a like button, like in isolation, and think about how it would work. So a like button is obviously something that has a link you can click called like. And then it probably also has a status. We can call this something like this could be an attribute, but should it be a class or an attribute? If it has something like is liked, we can say is liked. I think ternary expressions work with Twig, I'm not sure. Or we'll do an if. Why the heck not? And then, oh my god. Okay, it's pretty gross, but why not? We could also just have like a classes class, and I think it would be fine. This is only for the initial state also, but don't worry about it. And then we need some path. Yes, I'll think about this, but we're going to close everything else and think about the action we want to write. So basically, you want an action called like. What should the like action do? It should probably take in the shoot, what am I trying to say? It should take in the ID of the thing you're liking, and it should know the current user. So you could do need the user, current user. Okay. I also think I documented this somewhere else. I'm going to look at the SFC examples module just to like refresh my own memory on actions. This is a crazy one, but I just wanted to see. Oh, it's account. I always forget like the actual type of current user. You'd think it's a user entity, but it's really not. Okay, so I need the current user, and we need the thing they're liking. Just looking at this a bit more. Oh yeah, and we need the request. Sometimes you just kind of forget how your own code works. Boop. So it's an action. You have the current request. You have the current user. In the request, we're going to pass a query param for the current, I guess, node that you're going to like. So we're going to do query get. We're going to call it Dreet ID. And no default. We can say Dreet ID not set Dreet ID. No new access denied exception. It's probably more like a 404, but I think it's okay. Cool. Semicolons. Oh wait, access denied HTTP. There you go. It was like that doesn't look familiar, so we've got that. Cool. Just some protection, I guess. And then you need the current user, so you can do something like or current user is anonymous. So basically, we're stopping anonymous users from hitting this route. This is just an example of how in actions you have to write your own access checking, which is fine. Just have to remember to do it, or else you're going to get bad time. So you have the current node, hypothetically. We can actually even try to load it down here. We can do node. Again, you could use dependency injection for this, which is best practice, but maybe you're lazy like me and you just want to finish this really soon. So great. So you could say if not Dreet, we're going to do this again. Great. So now you know you have a Dreet. You can also like get the real user. I don't think you can load like the user object from here. Nope. But we can do user load. I really have no idea how this would happen, but why not just handle all the cases? So you know you have a node, you know you have a user. So we're going to do something like set a field on the user. Field likes. Field likes value. This again is where like custom objects for everything, custom entities for everything, including users, would be really cool. But I'm just not doing architecture for this this thing. So yeah, it's a field item list. I think what I want is all of the likes to be a entity reference field, and we want to add to the end of it. So we're gonna go to users. I think it's account settings. And we'll add a reference to content called likes. And we want it to be unlimited. What sucks is you don't have a date that this happened. Like this is not a good content architecture, but it's okay. Yeah, we only want to allow Dreets, and sorting doesn't matter. Okay, so now we have this field likes. Let's learn how it actually works. We're gonna do a user load here. I just opened the Drush PHP console, which I use all the time just for debugging. I just want to see what field likes looks like, because then it'll make it a lot easier for me to write this code good the first time. So we're going to go field likes, field item list. We can even do things like this, just to make like our DX life better. We can give a type hint, so that our code from here on out knows it's a field item list, which is great. And we can append an item, which is the Dreet ID. And then we can save the user. And this will add a like, but we actually probably want to like toggle it. So what we can do also is likes. What can we do with items? Get item. I think you can iterate over it. So let's add 2 values in this console just for fun. We're going to use append and not save the user, but we're going to append an item and we're just going to add node 1, node 2. So user field likes as 0 and 1. So what you can do is, I think you can do something like this, and then you can echo the like NID. No. Yes, I know. Indie reference item. But we kind of, this looks similar to the timeline, right? NID entity. Like NID entity. Entity reference item. Oh, target ID. See, you just forget things when you get old. stupid. So, but why? But why? Let's do like print bar, like, oh, yeah, shoot. Don't want to lose everything. We made a user. We added that and that. Now we're debugging this silly loop. It's just kind of unfortunate. Why can't I just get to it? Get ID of entity reference item. Yes. I just should always Google, huh? Oh, could the user field likes. Oh, I guess so. I'd rather work with the entity item because I have it. Oh, I'm just trying to think. Okay, so what we want to do is first see if node is already liked. And we can do something like this. As key value, not very useful. ID equals reset. This will just give me the first value. And then if the Dreet ID is the same. Oh, and let's also cast this to int somewhere else. Or Dreet ID. Yeah. We will unset index equals false. We're going to do -1 to keep it an int, and then we're going to do this. So basically what we're doing is we're like looping through all the values and finding if it's already liked, and if it is, getting the key. And then we know from here we can say if unset index is set, then we know to do something like user. Oh, here we go. Much better. Likes. Oh, I also want to see, just, you know, for fun, if type pending actually tells me now what the entity reference item is. Anyway, sorry, I'm just talking. We have the likes field here, and then we can say likes remove item, the unset index, else we can append the item. And then we'll say the user. Okay, is this crazy? Did I go too fast? Let's read it all. We made an action. It gets a Dreet ID, gets the current user. It loads the Dreet, loads the user, does some like error checking, and then it toggles the like. So how it does that is it gets the like field. It gets the it like searches for the Dreet if it's already liked. If it is, it remembers the index. And if it is, it removes it. If not, it appends it, the Dreet ID. And then it saves. So this is good. It then needs to do something to like refresh the front end. So we're going to make a new response. New AJAX response. We're going to use the Drupal AJAX API. Weird. I didn't know you could like give it text. Anyway, we're going to add a command, and the command is going to be command. New toggle class. Add class command. We need to look at the commands. I think you can modify attributes, which is probably what I want, but we're just going to read. We can also execute any jQuery with this. It would just be cool to not do that. HTML command. There must be. I just don't believe you. Oh. Yeah, I guess we can do this. We'll do an invoke command, and that just lets us run jQuery. Not very fun. The selector is the SFC unique ID, which is something I may not have talked about before. Let's look at that actions example again. Boot. To do. Yeah, so basically with every action that gets invoked by SFC, you get this unique ID. It should always be passed unless you did something funky. You do need to support it, however, in your component. So I'll show you that here. So you need to use SFC attributes. This is basically like extra attributes that SFC chooses to add, but right now it literally only adds this thing that looks like data, SFC ID, and some random unique ID. So yep, you need to have that in your div. And then what's nice is you can select it here. You know, in Drupal AJAX normally it's so hard to know where an element is. You know, if you've ever looked at forums in Drupal that use AJAX, they're a mess. They really try to find a unique ID to target, and it's almost always like really bad. And I've written a ton of them, so I'm not saying other people are bad. It's just like the UX or the DX is really, really bad. So I'm trying to improve that by just giving you a unique ID you can target with code like this. So we have a unique ID. I'll add a new line because it doesn't really matter in a lot of cases. And then you can just target that here with a selector like data, SFC unique ID is this. Cool. I can't remember. Yeah, that's kind of what I did. Cool. This might actually be SFC unique. I feel like I made a function for this too. Could it be? Because I didn't want you to hard code things. Oh, that's cool. I have something that helps you build action URLs if you need to manually ever. You might. Nope. Okay. So yep, you got this, and then you need to invoke some jQuery. So let's do this. So the method is going to be, it depends if you add or remove. So we're going to say the method is empty, basically the method remove class, add class, oh, sorry, it is add class, and then the class name is going to be is liked, and of course array. Wow, crazy pants. And then we're just going to add a small amount of CSS just to change the color. We're just going to change the color of the whole thing, which is pretty silly, but we're going to say background color red. if it is also is liked. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Will it work? No one knows. We actually have to render this, so we need to go back to the Dreet and add a like button. Again, I'm not writing CSS this time, so it's just going to be real ugly. We're going to have it down here. Oh, let's give it some, like, it's not going to look like a heart, I'll tell you that. Padding, we'll just give it some padding so we can really see it and click on it. And we're going to give the link, like, some, what's it called? Display block, so it actually has some width. Oh yeah, and here, you need the actual link to the action, and I'm sorry I didn't remember. It's been a while. Yeah, you need, it's called SFC actions. Yeah. So you need something like this. SFC actions and then the name of your action, and this is just a URL that's already ready with that unique ID already passed to it, which is cool. So you're going to have the link. Drupal has this AJAX API, so you could say use AJAX, which means when you click it, it'll call out to this URL and then do these commands. And what else do I need? Oh, I also need the library. So we're going to do attach library, core.libraries, core.ajax, and then drupal.ajax. Okay, I thought I knew it, but okay. So you can see how much I use this search just to like validate things I'm thinking. I'm not sure if anyone else does that, but I do it obsessively. Okay, so we have a library. I am going to do a cache clear on this because there's so much going on. Cool. Man, I feel like I went too fast on this because I'm running out of time. But wouldn't it be cool if it worked first time? One thing I'm missing is some prepare context code to tell the tweet template whether or not the tweet is liked. So we're going to take in context, and we need to set this variable, and that is going to look a lot like this. I could maybe use like an array. Yeah, but we're just going to be lazy. So we're going to say is liked equals false. And we're just going to do this where we load the... Oh yeah, I forgot we need the current NID or the Dreet ID. So we're going to load the Dreet the same way. It'll be node, load. You notice I'm not doing like the checking to see if this is set because it's all my code. So I expect the caller of this component to pass the Dreet ID because it's just me. But you could do some error checking if this is like a library you provide to other people. Any rate, so, and you need the current user. So we need to do this thing again. Boop. Yeah, let's copy the whole thing. You know, I thought this would be useful when I was not going to use get value, but now we don't like really need it. Okay, we'll keep it. So, ooh, getting sleepy. So we have likes. So it's the exact same code. We like equals true. Basically, we know the current Dreet because it's passed in with the Dreet ID. We have the user's likes. We need to load the user. I had more time, I swear I would make this code better. You just have to trust me. So you have the user, you have their likes, you loop over the any reference field, you check if this is already set, and then you pass the twig context. We're going to clear cache again for fun, and we're going to go back to the home page. Should be fine. First thing is there's no like button because I didn't finish this code. Include SFC like button with Dreet ID. Oops, this is an array, not a whatever the heck I just thought it was. Dreet ID. That's okay. So we need to pass this as context again. I go back here. You're adding another field, which is the Dreet ID value, I guess. Cool. You have a like button. Let's look at it. It has no href, which is bad. Let's go back to the like button component. Oh, some should be red though. Yes. So, oh, I never saved. Okay. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. I thought some should be liked because we were doing that debugging before where we were setting ND reference values randomly. So, cool. Likes. Yeah, the URL is wrong. So let's look at where I set the actions. That should work because I have an action called like. Does it need to be actions plural? This is embarrassing. There you go. So now I got this crazy gobbledygook. I'm pointing with my finger, but you can't see it. But make it. Oh, that didn't make this bigger. Make you bigger. Nope. Anyway, it's got that unique ID at the end, which is huge, isn't it? Oh, and it's got some AJAX token because it's also every actions route is CSRF protected. So cool. The thing we're missing is we're not passing the Dreet ID in the URL. So what you can do for that is I'm almost certain you can just do an and at the end. Though it's gonna look weird. I also think there's a better way to do this, but I can't remember. So it's not fun. Okay, so now we're gonna pass the Dreet ID as a query param, and you should see at the end. Here's the Dreet. Yeah, I should be passing it. There's the Dreet ID there. Let's just do some light debugging, and we're just going to print the Dreet ID like in here. Okay, so it's not being passed or something. If I say foo, okay, so something's wrong here. Oh, stupid. Okay, so here's Dreet ID. Okay, it's just ID. I love that inconsistency with Drupal where some things are field items, some things can be just red. But at any rate, now you have this URL. It should be AJAX-y. Actually, we can just look at the value here. Yep, so it's SFC action, like button. The action is like. It's got the unique ID, so it knows to target this. It's got a CSRF token, and it has the Dreet ID. So let's try clicking it. We got some errors. We got 500, so we can go back to our web server and see. Did we forget to return the response I built? Yes. It also looks like it didn't like it in the first place, but that's okay. Oh, snap. So it turned it red, but it's not toggling it. and we don't know why. So I've clicked things a few times. Let's look at my user just to see if anything's happening. So it did not append a like, but it's turning the class red, which is fine. The reason why it isn't toggling it is because obviously I'm not setting the value correctly. So what I wonder is if I need to do this. Okay, so it's calling add class. I'm appending the ID, which is great. I'm saving it. Nope. No, nothing yet. That's strange. So let's just look at what can we do. Programmatically append to entity reference field Drupal. We're tagging it in. So that's for single value. For multiple value field. Oh God, I hate this API. I'm not trying to be rude, but wow, that stinks. Okay, great. So now we're actually setting the target ID. Maybe I could have just passed the ID and it works, but wow. And I click like, and it liked it. And if I refresh, it's not shown as liked, which we're going to debug in a second. But it appended. Let's click another like. Oop. And we go back to the user. We have another like. So now it's just our prepare context that is likely bad. Let's just see if we just echo it. Oh, now they started working. So I must have, oh, so I'm not clearing cache appropriately, which is totally my bad. We need to invalidate cache tags when we do this. This is why I develop with caching. Like, this is exactly why. So I could invalidate the Dreets cache tags, but instead of doing that, I'm going to make the like button cached on the current user, because that's kind of more accurate, and we're already saving the current user. So we're going to do this. Current. We're going to cache on the current user, and we're going to pass that context current user equals current user. I have 6 minutes. So now obviously they show up as liked, but that's not impressive. We're going to click like again, and it didn't work. Oh, nice, nice. I was passing it the account proxy and not the like user entity. Okay, we're going to do another one. Refresh, and it's liked. Okay, so the reason that works is because I've used the SFC cache function to cache based on the current user, and then way down in my action, I save the current user, which invalidates cache tags. So I don't have to do anything like use the cache tag invalidator service to invalidate some obscure cache tag for this. It all just kind of works because of the way cache metadata bubbles. So liking works. Let's try unliking. So we're going to click another. It went away, and it's gone. This was Dreet 2, and 2 is gone. It was at the top, though, so let's do another. And that's gone. So while this is ugly, it does appear to work, which is amazing, because we have some time left to do a summary. You know, just because I can tell I wrote that fast, and I know watching me work can be really frustrating, we're just going to read this whole component top to bottom, just so you know how actions work. So this is a like button component. It's rendered inside a Dreet, which is rendered inside a timeline. This top part is the template, which is the twig template. Basically, we're saying, okay, here's my component. It's like a top level div. It has a class called like button, which is just used for styling. And then we have this twig conditional that's used on load that if the Dreet is liked, it adds an isLiked class, and then we style it to look like it's liked. We also pass this SFC attributes thing, which includes an attributes object that includes this thing called SFC unique ID. It's something SFC provides to you that lets you target things using AJAX, which just makes everything a lot easier when you write actions. Then we have the like button inside this. It uses the SFC actions twig context that, again, SFC provides you to get the like URL. That is this huge thing. You see it includes the unique ID, the CSRF token, and then we've added a Dreet ID to the end of it. Again, I think you can use the attributes object or the URL object to make this nicer, but this was quick. And then we use this thing called use AJAX, where you can add to any link or form if you use AJAX submit on like a form button. But it just tells you to use the Drupal AJAX API. Then we attach that API, so we make sure we have the JavaScript that makes Drupal AJAX work. We cache the whole thing by the current user, because we're going to be updating the likes field on the user. Okay, let's go down. You have prepare context, which is a function that gets called when a single file component loads. It's like the same as preprocess. If you've ever written a preprocess function, it's very similar. It takes in the twig context, and then it uses a thing called auto wiring that I wrote, where you can pass in anything that kind of looks like a Drupal service, and it will just give you that thing. So because I've named it current user and it's the right interface, Drupal will pass this Drupal current user in. It's kind of nice. Then we get the Dreet, we get the user entity, get all the likes, and we determine if this Dreet is already liked. This, again, could be written better with an array filter or all sorts of stuff. In array would probably work too. And then we set some context, is liked, which determines if it's read or not on load. These have the is liked class. And we pass the current user. Then we have an action, which actually like performs the like. I don't know what edits I made. It takes in the current request, the current user, and what it does is it sets everything up. It then sees if the Dreet is already liked, in which case clicking the like button would probably, the user wants to unlike it. So we're basically seeing here, like, do I need to unlike the Dreet? If we do, we remove the item from the ND reference field, and we tell the Drupal AJAX API to remove the class. We're really telling jQuery. And then, or we append the likes to the likes field, in which case we want to add the isLiked field, isLiked class. And then we save the user. By saving the user, we invalidate the cache tags added by this call right here, which makes sure that this will reload for the next user that refreshes this page. We then have an AJAX response that invokes the method we chose, which is add a remove class, and adds or remove this class. Yep, and then we actually add the command to the AJAX response and return it. Again, think of actions like controllers. So this is like a controller callback. So with this one, you can see it has the isLiked class, so it must have been liked. You can click this, and it made an AJAX call. Boop. That reached out and liked or unliked this thing. Yep. Okay, that's it. Kind of rushed but good thing. I think I don't want to do CSS offline, but it is kind of boring to watch. So I'll decide on the next part if I'm going to just write CSS the whole time, or if I'm going to do that offline so it doesn't look like crap. And then we can focus on things like followers and making the profile page pictures real, which is kind of fun. We'll use Tweak to use image styles and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it for right now. And now you've seen me write an action that likes Dreets using SFC actions and AJAX. So yeah, I hope this was good. And I'll hope to make a new one soon. I guess my timeline is like 1 to 3 weeks. But thanks for watching, and check out single file components if you've never used it. Go to drupal.org, project, SFC, and check it out. The README is extremely good and long. It tells you pretty much everything you need to know if you want to read it all. Yep, that's it. Thanks for watching.